Hi, this is Zeybe Brief and I am Kulsuma Nur. A special session has been called by the European Union, which will be held tomorrow, December 17, by the United Nations Human Rights Council. The request made on Monday was supported by over 50 countries, 17 of which are member states and 36 are observer states. EU's ambassador to the United Nations, Lotte Knudsen, in a statement she made on Monday said, "In light of the aggravating situation, we believe the international community has a moral obligation to try to prevent further atrocities and ensure accountability and justice for victims and survivors." However, this is not the first measure taken by the European Union in response to the conflict in northern Ethiopia. On January 15, the European Union suspended budget support for Ethiopia worth 88 million euros until humanitarian agencies are granted access to people in need of aid in the northern Tigray region. Moreover, the European Parliament has on October 7 adopted a resolution demanding immediate cessation of hostilities by all parties and calling for wide-range sanctions, including arms embargo against all the belligerents participating in the ongoing civil war in Ethiopia. The text proposes to establish an international commission of experts for a period of 1 year renewable to investigate human rights violations committed by all parties to the conflict since November 2020. The European Union draft resolution calls on government of Ethiopia to implement the state of emergency declared on November 2, 2021 in a manner that respects the principle of strict necessity, proportionality and non-discrimination, and to publish the list of detainees and guarantee the right to visits in detention centers. It expresses deep concern at the report about the targeting, arrest and detention of people based on their ethnicity, the poor detention conditions of those arrested, the allegation of ill treatment in detention and the lack of judicial review. On Monday, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's spokesperson, Billene Siyub, called for African countries to strategically block EU's request. None of the African continent's 30 representatives in the 47-member body of the United Nations based in Geneva backed a proposal to have the Human Rights Council discuss Ethiopia as had been proposed by the European Union. The Ethiopian Ministry of Foreign Affairs said that the move had a politically motivated objective, and it ignored Ethiopian government commitment to applying the recommendations made by the Joint Investigative Team of the United Nations and the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission on the alleged violation of human rights in northern Ethiopia, Tigray region. The ministry also accused some members of the human rights body of choosing to advance their political agenda through the work of the Council, when the United Nations Council had ignored calls to investigate human rights violations and atrocities committed by the TPLF in Amhara and Afar province. Early November, the United Nations Human Rights Council and the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission published a joint report concluding there are possible crimes against humanity committed by all parties in the conflict. It found that both the Tigray People's Liberation Front, TPLF, and the Ethiopian government forces and allied militia had committed atrocities, including killings, rape, forcible displacement, and torture. It did not find evidence of genocide. On Monday, December 13, EU's top diplomat Josep Borrell criticized EU member states for failing to agree on sanctions against those who were suspected of war crime in Ethiopia, and expressed his frustration over Europe's failure to give an effective policy response to the situation.
Ethiopia is one of the issues that we have debated the most this year. And it is also one of my biggest frustrations because we were not able to react properly to the large-scale human rights violations, mass rapes, using sexual violence.
The Ethiopian Human Rights Commission today issued a statement sharing its concern over the draft resolution SS33. The Commission's letter raises some concern about the body that is going to be established, which has the same mandate as the Joint Investigation Team, and also that it covers the similar date as the Joint Investigation Report. Even though there is value added in encouraging the United Nations Human Rights Council and the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission to continue with the joint investigation in areas which the JIT could not access due to insecurity and to cover the period following 28 June 2021, which was not covered by the joint investigation, setting up a new body to investigate the entire period since November 2020 is repetitive, counterproductive to the ongoing implementation processes, and further delays redress for victims and survivors. There is an urgent need to proceed to the next step, which should have been rehabilitation, restitution and compensation, as well as prosecution of the perpetrators. The Commission also added that the resolution could set a precedent for forum shopping by rejecting the investigation and recommendation of one investigation over the other. The United Nations Human Rights Council, that will be holding a meeting tomorrow, has the mandate to establish International Commission of Inquiry, fact-finding mission that investigates and reports on human rights violation that will help expose violators and bring them to justice. The Human Rights Council has no executive powers and is not the Security Council. It cannot impose sanctions or provide a mandate to intervene. Experts say that it can pass resolution despite the opposition of the country concerned. Where a special inquiry is established, atrocities committed by all parties will be recorded and the international community will bear witness to it and hold out the prospect that there will be accountability, in turn imposing continued political pressure on countries to protect their citizens' human rights. The outcome of the United Nations Human Rights Council session will be determined tomorrow.